morning and happy Tuesday to you. I woke up in such a good mood today. There was a little birdie chirping outside my window and it reminded me of spring, and I really feel like spring might be right around the corner. I'm really ready for it. We're excited. Also very excited for today. Today we're showing you our nose to tail feast. So this is the day that we get a little bit more creative with what we put on our plates. But before we get started in that, I want to ask you a question. What was the favorite thing that you ate yesterday? It's a really good way to start your day. So reflect, what was the favorite thing you ate yesterday? For me, it was that sirloin. Even though Marshmallow ate half of it, the other half was excellent. So one of the items on our nose to tail feast is an oven baked brisket. It is an easy way to make brisket in the oven. So we're gonna show you how we do that. It's our favorite way to cook it. Hello, Chef Ashley. What do you have there?
So here we have a brisket from our full cow. To be honest, this guy's pretty lean brisket. Normally it has like a big fat cap, but it's okay. We're gonna see how this goes. So first we preheated the oven to 300, and then we have some parchment paper here, and basically I'm just going to wrap it entirely in parchment paper. So we're gonna do first layer. Last time we made brisket, we had this like giant parchment paper turkey roasting bag that worked really well, but I couldn't find it at the store again. I think they only keep it around Thanksgiving. So we're just gonna make our own little sack.
Hello, little guy. Are you safe and secure in there?
So if you had that super thick fat cap, make sure that that fat cap is sitting on the top. And then the second layer of parchment paper. Let's do one more. The reason we want it to be wrapped is because we want the brisket to like sit in its own fat and stay moist while it's cooking. We have this, and now I have a baking pan and a rack, and I'm just going to set the brisket sack. Brisket sack.
Brisket sack.
For brisket sack. And place that in the oven. And we're gonna cook it for about 6 hours covered.
Goodbye, brisket. Do your thing.
One huge benefit of Instagram stories is that you have access to so many songs, right? On YouTube, you can't use any of these songs or else you'll get copyrighted. So I put the brisket on the story this morning.
Such a classic. My chick bad, better than yours. My chick bad, ooh, yeah, oh, yeah, ooh, shoot, ooh, my chick bad, better than yours. I think I like Rory Mix better.
So I'll do it this time. Our next nose to tail feast. You see I have braids on.
You know what that means.
Time. Let's go.
I'm walking alone, the streets are empty. The only thing I can see is my own silhouette. I'm getting stronger, step by step. The clock is ticking, but there's no time for regrets. I've been flying from town to town, from London to Taiwan. I've been all around the globe trying to protect your soul. We are heroes tonight. We will fly above the sky. We are heroes tonight. Yeah.
somebody came up to me today and asked us what we eat, and they were genuinely curious. So I told them all about Carnivore. I showed them all of our social media, and their biggest concern and question was, what about the fiber? And I guess this person has been dealing with chronic constipation, so their doctor has them on a high fiber diet. So I told them, like, hey, like, we have been through that. That is one of the things that has resolved with going carnivore. And I gave them a bunch of different resources, so it'll be interesting to see if they actually look into it. That was really fun, though. Like, I love spreading this message and just, like, knocking down myths just, like, left and right, like,
no, you don't need fiber for the poops. Speaking of following us on social media, on Instagram today, we posted a pretty cool post about how ketosis can enhance the performance and resilience of warfighters who function in these extreme environments, like at the bottom of the ocean or, you know, shoot, in space in the future. And so here's the main image, and I compiled all the references in the last image in case you're curious and diving a little bit deeper. And as I mentioned, like, I am not involved in this science, in this research. I think that it's really fascinating how, you know, most of the time we view ketone bodies as an energy molecule, but how can these ketone bodies also serve as signaling molecules and be protective? It's just fascinating. There's so many unknowns, and it's just so cool. But now time to go home. I don't think we're gonna do an OMAD today. I think we're gonna split it into 2 meals and just do like a simple platter 1 and then a beautiful nose to tail feast for platter number 2. So let's get home and get cooking.
Super easy platter number 1, made in less than 10 minutes with a slight variation. So Ashley wanted sunny side up eggs, and I just did 2 raw egg yolks, boobs. We have skirt steak, lightly seared heart, beef heart, and then a little bit of raw beef suet. So it's time to eat, yo.
All right, another part of this week's nose to tail feast, we've got some duck leg quarters. So this is like the thigh and the leg of the duck, and we get our duck from White Oak Pastures because they do pastured poultry properly, and this is part of Duck Month, so we made a huge duck haul from White Oak Pastures. So we're gonna do it confit method. Confit. So basically we're gonna cook this low and slow in a bunch of fat. So we have some pork lard, and the reason for this is it kind of acts like a sous vide, where sous vide is like that warm water bath that the meat cooks in low and slow for a long time. The fat is acting similarly to that, but it makes the meat so juicy and tender. It's cooking in juicy. Fat. So juicy and tender. Plus, if you're interested in preserving, you can actually store the cooked meat in the fat for like months on end. We've done confit method a few times for poultry, and I think it's honestly our favorite way to cook poultry. It's like a foolproof method that you're not going to have dry, plain, gross poultry. So if you've never tried it, it's really easy. So all we are going to do is just put the duck breasts, these are not duck breasts, sorry, duck thigh and legs,
leg quarters,
like the skin down. And we are going to throw in some of the more benign spices. So we've got some rosemary leaves.
Optional. Herbs are better as topping, not as food source.
Some rosemary, some thyme, of course, some salt. So the duck skin itself is super fatty, so you don't need to put that much fat in here because the fat will render off of the ducks, but we're basically just going to cover each of these bad boys. And then you don't need to spread this because it'll all just render and it'll be sitting in a pool of fat. But then we're just going to cover this and cook it at 215 degrees Fahrenheit in the oven for about 2 to 3 hours. We'll see. Now we're turning to the big old brisket. Alright, so the brisket has been in the oven for about 6 hours and 15 minutes. 6 hours should be plenty, depending on the size. And all we're going to do now is remove it from this parchment paper and then put it on top of the rack so that way we can cook it uncovered so we can get like a crispy top. So it remained moist while cooking in the parchment paper, and now we're gonna try to get that a little bit of a crispy, you know, hat. Other pouch works better.
Big fail, making a mess, but this baby is beautiful. So we removed the brisket from the parchment paper and put it on top of the rack.
And now it's going back in the oven at 300 for about an hour or an hour and a half. Watch it to get a little bit of a crispy hat.
Crispy hats. Alright, it is such a beautiful day, so we decided to walk to our local cooperative grocery store to get our weekly groceries. That is a grand total of 2 items.
What are the ingredients?
Vital wheat gluten, tofu, cane sugar, garlic, potassium chloride,
3 weeks later.
dextrose, whereas you could just literally get
Ham.
ham.
Slice some brisket with me. Alright, so
New segment.
when you're slicing brisket, we got to slice against the grain. And honestly, this has a very weird shape, so this is going to be a little challenging. It's going to be a little challenging, but we're going to start with the easier side. So, come close. You can see the grains right here, they're running this way. So we're going to start with this corner and we're going to go perpendicular. So if the grains are this way, we're going to slice perpendicular. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, so let's try this. Start with right here. Oh, it's so moist and juicy. The fat cap also presents a slight challenge. Does that look pretty good? How does it look?
Looks good.
Oh, it looks so juicy. And the grain direction is definitely going to change throughout this weird shape. So you got to change your cutting angle. I am not an expert brisket cutter. But this is what I have found that works.
It's a lot better than me.
So the grains are now kind of coming this way. So now we got to change a little bit. You want to try now?
Sure.
All right. So like really push in. Oh, start over here. There you go.
I am not very good at this.
Oh no. Okay, that's good. There you go. That's a thick slice. I know you don't like thick slices.
I didn't want to break it.
It's okay.
Okay, again.
Yeah.
Ashley's my slicing instructor.
Gus is also very intrigued. He's helping. Assisting. The kiddos got tripe night tonight. Guys, tripe does not smell good at all. This is ground green beef tripe. They have this 2 to 3 times a week. Let's see. Oh, so good. This is Gus's favorite day of the week. He goes to that bowl so fast. Nellie smings uncomfortably fast. Sming, sming, smung in a matter of probably about 20 seconds total. Uncomfortable sming rate. Very, very uncomfortable. Very good, Nellie. Lick it clean. Lick it clean. Guys, this duck confit though, I brought it outside so I could show you guys, give it like a full 360. Let's see. Alright, it is time to switch to the nighttime blue light blockers and enjoy this beautiful nose to tail feast. We got 2 of these bad boys. So let's show them what's on there.
So, we've got duck
Confit.
leg quarter that Ashley cooked up.
Turn the other side.
Confit, so we have the skin, and the other side is the meat more.
Super juicy, tender.
We
Crispy
have
skin.
just a little bit of raw beef to it
That's not
for
a
a
little.
little bit additional fat.
It's a good one.
We have some of the oven baked brisket, leftover seared skirt steak, and then
Not leftover,
some
just seared skirt steak.
beef brain and liver quiche.
So we got an organ quiche.
An organ quiche. I'll show you it up close. Ashley just made this. The recipe will be in our cookbook coming out within the next few months. Guys, you can imagine, very excited to eat this plate, so we kind of wrap things up so we can get eaten.
We'll hang out with you guys tomorrow. Until then, behave like
Hey, Angel.
a angel.